Hi, you said that you needed more help with how to change statements into questions. So today I have a detailed lesson on that. I have rules for you with examples of each rule and some questions for you to try out as well. We will go through all the questions we did in the previous lesson also and see if the rules help you to understand them better. I'm here to help you, so I'm glad you asked for this help. If any of you are new to my channel, I'm Melaine from English Made Easy. And if you need help to understand your English lessons better, you will find that here. Do consider subscribing so that you can get all the help that you need. Let's begin. Are you ready? This is how to convert statements into questions. The rules, examples of each rule, and some exercises for you to do so that you know that you have understood the rule very well. First thing, the first rule that you need to remember, interchange the words by putting the verb first. You need to know what the verb is. Verb meaning the word that shows action. So if you look at this sentence, she is sad. The verb is is. So now you just have to interchange the words. That means change the position of the words in such a way that you put the verb first. So let's put the verb first, is, and then put the rest of the words. She sad. She said. And don't forget to put a question mark and, of course, a capital letter in the beginning. So I hope that this first rule is very, very easy for you to understand. All you need to do is look for the verb, put the verb first, and then write the rest of the words. Don't forget the question mark and the capital letter in the beginning of the sentence. Got that? Okay. You try this. It is raining. If you can get this answer right, that means you understood that first rule very well. It is raining. Start with the word is. Why? Because is the verb over here. So let's see if you got it right. Is comes first and then the other two words. It raining. Question mark and capital letter. Is it raining? That's your answer. Would you like to try one more just to be sure that you understood that first rule? We are hungry. Start with are. So, how would you do that? Write are first, and then what's left? This is left, and this is left. So, what will your answer be? Are we hungry? And a question mark. Of course, a capital letter too. Are we hungry? Easy? Okay, now let's move on to something a little more advanced. If you find a helping verb in the sentence, do you know what a helping verb is? That means you will find the main verb and you will find a verb that helps that main verb. So if you find a helping verb in the sentence, then start with the helping verb. For example, they had already eaten. So here we have had, which is the helping verb. So we need to start with had first. Now, if we start with had first, you have to follow with the rest of the words. They already eaten. Had they already eaten? Capital letter and question mark. Got it? Can you remember that? If you have a helping verb, start with the helping verb. Let's see if you got this rule. She will win the contest. Start with the word will. Try it. If you get it right, that means you understood the second rule very well also. Okay, so you have to write will first, and then what will you write? What's left? She win the contest. So your answer should be, will she win the contest? Will she win the contest? Of course, capital letter, question mark. Will she win the contest? Try one more. The old man has treated him kindly. So begin with has. Begin with has, use a capital H, and then see what words are left. What's left? The old man treated him kindly. So we start with has and then write the rest of the words. Very simple, isn't it? Has the old man treated him kindly? Question mark. Easy? Let's move on now to something a little harder. If there is more than one verb, you have to move it like this. Now it's getting a little harder, so pay careful attention and get this right. For example, your hair has been growing very fast. I've used different colors so that you find it easier to understand what's going on here as I'm explaining it. Your hair has been growing very fast. So, how will you start? You start with has and then put the rest of the words as they are. Your hair been growing very fast. Got that? So here you have verbs here. But if you have more than one helping verb like has, then you need to put it first. Let's try that now. They should have been in bed by now. So you have should, have, been. You have to start with should. So how will you do this? Should will be the first word, and then what's left? They have been in bed by now. Did you get that? Should they have been in bed by now? Should is there, have been in bed by now, in bed by now. I hope you have understood everything I've said so far. Let's try one more. He will have taken the dog for a walk by now. Will have taken and start with will. You try. So all you have to do is write will first and then keep the rest of the words as they are and put a question mark at the end, of course. Don't forget the capital letter in the beginning. Let's see if you got it right. Will, because will has to be written first, and then whatever is left, you write that. He have taken the dog, for a walk by now, for a walk by now, question mark, capital letter. Okay, will he have taken the dog for a walk by now? Got that? Now we're moving on to something a little bit harder. Pay careful attention. If the verb is in the present tense, you need to add the word does. Does. Look for the verb again. Verb, the word that shows action. In this case, the verb is climbs. So look for the verb first. Look at the sentence. Look for the verb, the word that's showing action. And in this case, it is climbs. Now, is this present tense? You know the meaning of present tense, right? Present tense meaning the action is happening right now. It's not over. So she climbs a tree, meaning she's doing it right now. So if the verb is in present tense, use the word does. So you start with does. Now there's one more thing, very important thing to pay attention to. Start with does, but when you change this, this cannot stay as climbs, okay? Because you have a singular person over here, one person, she, one person. So, does, she, and climbs becomes climb. You cannot write climbs again. So, you have to change the verb. So, please be very careful when you see does or you know that the verb is in the present tense and you have to use the word does. or your question is asking you to use does, begin with does, then be very careful with the verb. Change the verb like this. Does she climb a tree? I hope you understood that. Let's see if you did. He eats a chocolate every day. I'm saying start with does. And there's one more important thing I told you to remember. Although you are starting with the word does because this is present tense, that means he's doing it every day, so it's present tense. There is another change you need to make, which I told you about. The verb has to change. Okay? So you cannot say, does he eats a chocolate every day? You have to change this verb. Let's see. Does he eat a chocolate every day? Does, because you have to start with does, and you're starting with does because this is present tense. Does he eat? Not eats. If you write eats, it will be wrong English. And the rest of it stays the same. A chocolate every day. I hope that is very clear to you. Okay? Now, suppose you have many people. See, in the previous sentences, you had only one person, he. Then in the previous one, you had she, just one person. So you used the word does because there is one person. Even here, it's does because there's one person, he. Now, what happens if there is more than one person? They. Or instead of they, we could say the boys, the girls, or the men, the women, or names of people could be used. Okay? So, if it's more than one person, like this, you have to start with do, not does. Because if you use does, it will be wrong English. So do. Try it. What about the verb then in that case? Does it stay the same? Will you write swim in your answer or will you write swims in your answer? Think. And let's see if you got it right. Do they swim? It does not change. I hope you got it right. And the rest of it stays the same. Do they swim in the lake at 6 o'clock? Okay? Do is used for plural subjects like I just showed you. Back again. They. Plural subjects. So you use do. Do is also used if you have you in the sentence. Like this. You pass this way often. Do. Do you pass this way often? Do you pass this way often? Got it? So do is used for plural subjects as well as for you, like this. Does is used for singular subjects if the verb is in the present tense. Okay, moving on. If the verb is in the simple past tense, now we're going to past tense. Why? What is past tense? Past tense means the action has already happened. It has happened in the past, done already. Okay? Then you cannot use do or does. You have to use the word did. Okay? Someone asked me this question in the previous video, so I hope you got your answer to this. If the verb is in the simple past tense, use did. Here's an example. He ran across the road. Ran is simple past tense, meaning it already happened. He ran. Okay? He's not running now. He ran. And so you start with did, write the rest of the words as they are, but be very careful of the verb. Change the verb. Like we changed the verb before when you had do, does, remember? So you change the verb again. Make ran into run. You cannot say, did he ran across the road? Did he run across the road? I hope you got that. And if you did, you will get this right. Let's see if you get it right. He troubled the cat. Now, this is past tense, simple past tense. He troubled the cat, meaning finished. He finished troubling the cat. He did it before, not doing it now. So you start with did. And then you write the rest of the words. And then now you have to think whether you're going to change this verb or not. Are you going to leave it as troubled or are you going to change it to something else? Are you going to make it trouble? What do you think? Well, the answer is did he trouble the cat? Yes, you have to change the verb. So you start with did, you use the rest of the words he, the, cat, but you change troubled to trouble. You have to change it, otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Did he trouble the cat? Okay, he troubled the cat. Try this one as well. The boys broke the vase. Start with did. Broke again is past tense. So you're starting with did. So did, and then think whether you're going to change this verb. Are you going to change it? Let's see. Did the boys break the vase? Yes, you have to change it. Okay. So did the boys, broke becomes break the vase. All right. Now we move on to a little harder part, and the previous video I did is actually based on this part of the lesson, which is not as simple as all the previous rules that I just did with you. So please pay careful attention. And if you feel that you are mentally drained and you're very tired and you need to take a break now, pause the video. Come back and watch it when you are fresh because you need to pay very careful attention here. Okay, so let's start. You can also add a question word like who, what, when. Here's a nice example for you. Sagan, or you can pronounce his name any way you like. Sagan is playing soccer, football, soccer. Start with what. Now I'm asking what. So I want an answer to that question. If you think of a one word answer that you can get from this question, what would your answer be? What would your answer be? Would it be Sagan or would it be soccer? You're asking what. So what would your answer be? Your answer would be soccer. So now you frame a question in such a way that you get the answer soccer when you ask the question. What is Sagan playing? Start with what is Sagan playing. You leave out your answer. All this time you were actually using every single word in the sentence. Now, when you have to use a question word like who, what, when, which, all these words, you have to leave out the word which is going to be the answer to the question. That one word has to be left out. Okay, so in this case, what is Sagan playing? You have to leave soccer out because that is your answer. If I ask you the question, what is Sagan playing? And I tell you answer in one word, your one word answer will be soccer, right? So you leave soccer out and use the rest of the words. And don't forget to interchange. Sagan comes here, is comes here. It's like a cross. Okay, you cannot say what Sagan is playing. That's wrong English. You have to interchange and say, what is Sagan playing? And leave the answer out. I'll give you another example with the same sentence here. Sagan is playing soccer, but this time, instead of starting the sentence with what, you start the sentence with who. Okay? Who is playing soccer? Now, what will your answer be? Who? One word answer, Sagan. So, you're not going to use the word Sagan in your answer. Here you used the word Sagan, you left out soccer. Here you're going to leave out Sagan and use the word soccer. Okay? Who is playing soccer? And now we are not interchanging the words. Who playing is soccer doesn't make sense, so we can't interchange it. We have to say, who is playing soccer? All right. So when you come to using question words, you have to leave the answer out. That one word answer you have to leave out. Let's see if you can try this one. It's a very easy one. Paul is drinking milk. Just four words in the sentence. Now I am saying start with who. If you start with who, what will your one word answer be? Think of that first and then remember that you are going to leave that word out. Okay? And now think whether you're going to interchange these words or not. Done thinking? Now let's see if you got the answer right. Start with who. So, who is drinking milk? And if I ask this question, who is drinking milk? The answer, the one word answer, will be Paul. So I have to leave Paul out. Got it? And we don't interchange is and drinking. Try this one. Now Paul is drinking milk again, but this time I'm asking you to start with what. So the first thing you do is check what your one word answer is going to be. Leave that word out. Then decide whether you're going to interchange these words in your answer. If you remember the example I showed you, then you will know exactly what you have to do. And let's see if you got it right. What is Paul drinking? So we have interchanged, like I showed you the example. Okay? And you can't use the word milk because when you ask the question, that will be your one word answer. What is Paul drinking? Milk. So leave milk out and interchange these words. What is Paul drinking? Question mark. I hope you got that very well. And now that I've finished with all the rules, of course, there are other ways in which you can make questions too. But we leave that out for now. That's a little more complicated. For example, you can make questions using question tags, but I don't think that you have learned question tags yet. So we will leave that out for another day. And let's now go back to the questions that we did in the previous video and see if you can understand those questions better now that you have understood all the rules. Shall we? This was your first question. He will do something. Start with what? Okay, so now your question should be a one word answer. First, you think of what that one word is going to be. After you have thought of what that one word is going to be, then you think whether you're going to interchange the words. Will you interchange these words? And then think of your answer. So, what is your answer? What will he do? You're leaving something out because something is that one word answer. What will he do? Something. So leave something out and then interchange these words and write what will he do. Let's try the next one. Somebody rang him up. Start with who. So first think of your one word answer. Okay? And then think of whether you're going to interchange any of the words. And if you go back to the rules that I taught you, you will know exactly what to do. If you're not sure, please go back to the rules, learn the rules again, then come back to this part. And those who are sure, let's see if you got the answer right. It is who rang him up. Who rang him up without interchanging any words? Because when I ask this question, my answer will be somebody, so I have to leave that word out. Who rang him up? Somebody. Let's do the next one. The policeman asked him something. Begin with what? What's your one word answer? Will you interchange any words? Will you change the verb in the sentence? It's getting more complicated, isn't it? Think carefully. I'm giving you hints. And your answer should be what did the policeman ask him? Because when you get the answer, it will be something. So you leave something out. Now you're left with the policeman asked him. You need to change ask to ask. Make it present tense. Okay? What did? Now, why are we using did? Think. If the verb is in the simple past tense, use did. That's what the rule stated earlier. So we have the verb here, which is in the simple past tense. Hence, we have to use the word did. So, what did the policeman ask him? I hope your question is answered now. Someone asked me a question in the comments about why we're using did. I hope you have understood why we're using did. Yes? Shall we move on? The old man lives here. Start with where. First, think of your one word answer. Leave that word out. Look at the verb. Think of whether you're going to change the verb. Is it in present tense? Is it in past tense? Does it need to be changed? Do you need to use did or does or do? Are you going to interchange any of the words? I've gone through all these rules with you, so you should know. Okay? Are you going to use do, does, did? Let's see if you got it right. Where does the old man live? Your answer, one word answer will be here, so you leave here out. And you're starting with where? That's your question word. And you're using does. Why? The old man does. The old man and lives changes to live. All right? Why did we do that? Why did we use does? If the verb is in the present tense, you need to add the word does. Present tense. And if you have forgotten any of these rules or they're not clear to you or you need to learn them, please go back to the start of the video, learn every single rule very well, and then come back to this part. Then you will understand it very well. You'll understand why we're using did, why we're using does, how we are interchanging the words, and why sometimes we have to use the present tense and sometimes the past tense. All right? There are some more questions you had. Somebody's car is parked right in front of our house. You begin with whose. Try that. What's your one word answer? Got it? This one is a little easier. So I'm sure you got this one right. Oh, I don't have the answers here. Now I'll get the answers here. Whose car is parked right in front of our house? Whose car is parked right in front of our house? Very easy one, isn't it? Let's see how easy this one is. Raman had fish for lunch. Begin with what? So get your one word answer first. Leave that word out. Think if you're going to interchange any words. Think if you're going to change the verb. All right. And the answer should be, what did Raman have for lunch? What did? Why are we using did? I hope you remember. And we have to change had to have. All right. Another reminder for you why we're using did. If the verb is in simple past tense, use did. Okay? Past tense. Had fish. Finished having. Okay? Done already. His father has been ill for some time. Begin with how long? Now think. What's your one word answer? Leave that word out or words. Okay? Think about whether you're going to interchange any words. Think about whether you're going to change any verb. Think about whether you're going to use did, do, does. You have to do a lot of thinking if you want to get these sentences right. These are not as easy as the first few rules that we went through. So, what's your answer? How long has his father been ill? How long has, and then you have to interchange and write his father been ill. Because your answer will not be one word but three words. For some time. How long has his father been ill? For some time. You can't say sometime. You can't say time. It doesn't make sense. So you have to add for some time as your answer. What about this one? He married the daughter of a well known film star. Begin with who or whom. This is also a very easy one. So get your one word answer first, and the rest is going to be very simple for you. Let's see if you got it right. Whom did he marry? Whom did he marry? Why did we use did? I hope you remember. Same thing. If the verb is in simple past tense, married. Married means not now, happened long time back. Past tense. So whom did he marry? What's your answer? The daughter of a well-known film star. Such a big answer. So sometimes your answer can be not one word but three words like we saw here, or one, two, three, four, five, six, seven words like we saw here. Okay, that also can happen. The next one was this pen belongs to somebody and begin with who. What's your one word answer? Or maybe not one word, but yes, in this case it is one word. Got it? Who does this pen belong to? Who does this pen belong to? We'll give you the answer. Somebody. All right. And then the rest of it, of course, you have to use does. Why? If the verb is in the present tense, you need to add the word does, and it is in present tense, belongs. Does this pen belong to? Change belongs to belong, add to, leave out somebody because that's your one word answer. What about this last one? This is the most expensive item in the shop. Begin with which. What's your one word answer? And the rest is very easy. Let's see if you got it right. Which is the most expensive item in the shop? Easy one, right? Which is the most expensive item in the shop? The answer is this. So you leave this out and you write the rest of it as it is. So as you can see, some sentences can be really easy where you don't have to add do, does, did. You don't have to interchange the words. You don't have to change the verb to a different tense, like this one, for example. Such an easy one. You just have to find out what your one word answer is, leave that word out, use this word, and write the rest of the sentence as it is. But sometimes it can be a little harder and more tricky, like this one. Who does this pen belong to? You had to change the verb and you had to then write it like this with does in it. Remember that this is present tense, so write does. So many things to remember, and hence I urge you to go through the rules very carefully, maybe write them down in a book, learn the rules by heart, learn how the rules work, and then you will get all these sentences right. If you still have a problem and you cannot understand how to do anything, please feel free to ask me anytime. Now that you watched this video, you can go back to the other one that I did on changing statements to questions and see if you understand it better now that I have explained every single one of them. And do share this lesson with your friends who might need it. I'm sure you have a lot of friends who are studying with you who would need this kind of help, who would need an explanation as to how the rules keep changing with different examples, and they would need to learn how to do it properly. And don't hesitate to ask me for help. Like I said earlier, we'll meet soon in the next video. Until then, do take care. I'll see you soon.